Please listen to this on a large speaker or headphones loudly. It will intensify your experience and the aspects I was trying to create greatly. Believe me, the music is important. The feeling is important. If you know me or you've been following my Facebook, you will know that I am a very creative person. I have a lot of ideas and a huge imagination. That being said, I create a lot of things. I make things with fire, and I do art projects, and I have a lot of ideas about a lot of things. Nothing that is financially gaining or even really that impressive. But I did go through a very large heartbreak in 2019. And in 2019, I lost 3 very important men to my life. 2 were human men and 1 was a little dog. And I find myself often having to compartmentalize this and deal with it. So often I have created storylines or, certain things just to help me cope with the aspects that these 2 men, my fiance and my best friend, were murdered and taken from me. And the other day I was just filming some fire that I had put together for more of a ceremonial type thing where I often I have an altar and I will, do a gratitude altar. And I started taking pictures of the gratitude altar, and I started to notice there was these little flicks of light that were, dancing around the room. And as I took pictures of it, it seemingly started to look like the light was dancing. And then there were 2 lights, and it was dancing sort of with each other. So that inspired me to think of it as a story, as the 2 lovers, these 2 lights dancing, and then one lover had to leave because it seemed as though the other lover was going. He was leaving and she was left behind. So that is what this story is about. And through that, I figured, well, nobody's going to see what I see unless I sort of direct their ability for them to direct their eyes at what I'm looking at, because it is very subtle. But really, once you see it, you will understand what I'm saying. So prior to that, I felt like I needed to create a story that would lend some kind of attachment to these 2 lights, so that you would see them as lovers and you would see them as a romance story, a fairy tale, if you will. So that is why I created this scenario, and I hope you enjoy. And just so we are clear, things like this is not my art. These are things that are universal, that we can share, use from Pinterest, from other artists and stuff, this part. And this was just miscellaneous random stuff that I just kind of like. So I am definitely using other ideas in the beginning of the story that I'm going to share with you. That is all of what it is until we get to the pictures of the lights. And the lights are me filming just where the reflection was going, either off the camera or whatever. And to me, it looked like, it looked like 2 fairies dancing. And I decided that was going to become a romance between a fairy named Ruby and a fairy prince or whatever named Jules. And there's also Bobby, the loyal friend, the confidant, and the little dragon, which is named Lil Bean. And so that was just sort of a prelude to the lights dancing. So it's not really all put together and whatever, but it's fun. So just have fun. Ruby had a baby dragon named Little Bean, and a most trusted and ever loyal ally, a friend, is named Bobby. And Ruby had, of course, her twin flame, Jules. I'm going to show you why they had to part, the battle that ensued. It's not the way I wanted to tell you this story, but the love story that comes after, you need to know this before we get to that. To us, they're flitters of light, but there's so much more going on in that light. And pretty soon, you're going to need the light of your imagination. But for now, I'm going to tell you this story in a little bit more of a vivid way, because it's just too much detail for us to see in the light. A great battle began in 2019, and Bobby and Jules and Lilbean fought so hard and so brave. against this evil that was to feed on earth and all that earth had. Every mythological creature, every type of fairy, every type of alien was involved. This evil that fed on mankind, on earth, on all the things that were alive here. Jules and Bobby and people and anything good rose up against it. It was a fierce and deadly enemy. Jules and Bobby and Little Bean did not survive the battle. They were taken away like ashes in the wind. Although the forces of light and good did prevail, this enemy that fed definitely filled its stomach. Lovers were torn from each other. Families were torn from each other. Those who survived were left behind. Very sad. So many last dances had been already danced, and so many last kisses have already been kissed. And they didn't even know it would be their last time. Those who fell, fell bravely. And their sacrifice allowed for the rest to carry on. And hopefully one day, let go of the pain. Ruby had lost so much, and her heart was broken. Jules was taken by the abomination. As he struggled and tried to hold on to life, he was dissolved, as was Bobby, and so was Little B. Little Bean, although so brave, was just too small an adversary to overcome. He suffered so. He tried and tried. But he just didn't have enough strength and ran out of air, and movement ceased. Ruby knew they were all gone, and she found lifeless Little Bean. But the evil forces had been destroyed. Those left behind looked up in sadness and began their mourning process. fire fairies, when they are in love, shine so brightly. And when love is no longer physically with them, they tend to get dimmer. It is a struggle for fire fairies to even move forward after they lose love. But it is possible to continue. Ruby returned to her home, and it seems as though all was starting to go back to normal. And for the rest of the story, this is where your imagination is needed. So remember when I told you you're going to need your imagination? Well, get your imagination on, because in this fire you will see Ruby and Jules reunited. They are fire fairies, so you're looking for two flames. In this particular shot, they're blue. You'll see them begin to emerge within the fire. I'll only help you out in seeing them for so long. Once you do, you won't need my help anymore. Look down towards the bottom of the flame, where the candle holder starts. You will see two shapes that look like they have wings, and Ruby even looks like she's wearing a dress. They're beginning their dance. They leave this candle holder though, and they will fly all over the room. In some moments, we don't see our lovers, but if you keep an open mind and you continue to watch, you will see them. You will see them. And in this moment, you're going to be blown away. There they are. Our lovers have begun to fly outside of the flames and into your heart. In this frame, you can see Ruby above the flame, her wings extended, and she's looking at the fire. There's a face, a dress. She's got her head turned a little bit. Can you see her? It is said that inside a flame lives a sorceress. And if two fairies that really love each other, fire fairies, are separated, that sorceress will allow them to come together one final time before the return to heaven is made. Allowing hearts to heal and allowing love to replenish the earth. We see our lovers a little bit in frames such as these. They're the purple. But some of this is just to appreciate the fire and the beautifulness of the thanks and the gratitude that we give. So at times, just allow yourself to relax and enjoy the pictures and the sounds. You don't need to search for Ruby and Jules. They'll show themselves when they're ready. Sometimes they appear as one because they're holding each other. Sometimes they are green and sometimes they are purple. So don't get discouraged if you don't always see them. Sometimes it can be pretty hard. I didn't set out to find fairies, let alone fire fairies. I was taking a picture of the fire, actually, just for a screensaver. And that's when I noticed our lovers, our Jules and our Ruby. When I started to put the frames together, because they were just pictures, I started to notice that this light was moving across the room. There seemed to be no rhyme or reason as to why or where it was going. And it was not intentional. None of this was done. It was all just caught. That being said, all of the frames are in order. When I started shooting them, I put them into this movie maker exactly how I had done them in that order. They're dancing, they're twirling, they're in line with each other, and their hearts are so happy. I don't have an explanation as to how it's moving across the room. I really don't. But I believe in magic. Do you? When they were together in this life, they danced and danced. They danced like devils and loved like angels. Anyone care to tell me how that happened? move now to the backyard. This is the yard where jewels will fly away from Ruby. how those two lights look. All I did was turn down the brightness. And yet they seem to have these angles, colors, I don't know. It's beautiful though.